All right, guys, welcome back. Boots come in pairs. Thank you for listening and subscribing. We've had quite a pickup in our viewership. All-Star Week starting this week. I think it starts on Monday. We have Home Run Derby. But before we get too much into the All-Star stuff, there's been some hot and cold streaks going on in the MLB. Starting off with the Blue Jays. If you can see my screen, the Blue Jays are 9-1 in their last 10. Have overtaken the Yankees, who have slid a little bit. They're on my cold list. This entire division, the only team that's under 500 is the Orioles. It's kind of wild. So the American League East is doing very well, very similar to the National League Central. The Tigers are atop the American League Central. They have been playing well all season, and they are well represented at the All-Star game. The rest of the Central below 500, so not the best division. White Sox rounding out the bottom. Astros have reclaimed the top spot in the West and are kind of taking control there. Underperforming Rangers and Mariners, followed by the Angels and Athletics. For the National League, you got the Phillies, you got the Mets playing really well. The Brewers are catching up, but they're not catching up as fast as I thought they would because the Cubs have been matching their pace. Not playing well against the Twins, but it doesn't matter. It's a day-to-day league, and we've kind of started to kick the Cardinals down into the basement where they belong. But every team in the Central besides the Pirates is 500 or better. So the Reds are 500. It seemed like a couple weeks ago when they were kicking on the door. They are no longer. They are 8.5 back of the Cubs right now. And then in the West, you have the Dodgers, who are not playing well. They've lost 6 in a row. They just got swept by the Brewers today. But they lead the West. You got the Giants. Padres have started to slide a little bit. They're 5.5 games back. And the Diamondbacks, who could be sellers, are 2 games under 500. So, again, you got hot and cold teams. Blue Jays and Brewers, by far, 2 of the hottest teams in baseball. How are those teams doing it? Because I don't feel like they're really doing much to deserve that. I don't want to say deserve. That's the wrong word. They're good organizations, but Blue Jays kind of feel like they're doing it with smoke and mirrors because it's not like Vladdy Jr. is having an MVP season.
But George Springer is playing extremely well. George Springer, we'll get into our all-star snub list in a little bit, but he is playing great. This is as good as I've seen him in years. He's healthy. He's definitely leading the charge. Power's there. He's hitting near the top of the lineup. He is looking like the George Springer of old. That's really what. And then you got guys like Ernie Clement and Barger and Alejandro Kirk, who's doing really well. I feel like Bo Bichette's having a really quiet, nice season.
He's having a bounce back there for sure.
Yeah, and Vlad, the power is not quite there. I've expressed my fantasy baseball manager frustration, him being my number 1 overall pick, where the power is. I've called him a glorified singles hitter several times, but Vladdy's the kind of guy where when he catches fire with the long ball, he's gonna do it in bunches. He's taking a lot of walks as well. He's batting 2. I mean, you're really looking for that guy to be your best hitter and also a guy who gets on base. But I think them doing what they're doing and not having Vlad being his normal power self is really impressive. I think they're pitching really well. Jose Berrios is having a great season. Also might be a snub in my book too. He's having a great season leading the staff. I just think they've really played well overall. Good defense. It has helped that the Yankees have slid a little bit, but the East is really anybody's game. The Red Sox have been surging as well. There's not much separation between 4th and 1st right now. I think there's only five games or so. So to me, it'll be really about who comes out of the break hot and then who's playing the best baseball in September. This is anybody's game. There's going to be additions. Trades are going to be flying. It's going to be wild. And I think the East, there's not going to be a lot of sellers in the East, I don't think.
Yep, the Red Sox are 6 games out at 3 games over, and then Orioles are 12.5 at 10 games under. But yeah, it's pretty clumped there, and yeah, that will play out very interestingly. I think the Blue Jays, when they signed Vladdy Jr. to that big deal after the last couple of years where they've just been lackluster. You're kind of like, what are they doing? What's their plan? And I think their plan was just to have their players play better. And yeah, George Springer is a big part of that. Bo Bichette is kind of leveling off to his career norms instead of, he was very injury prone last year and just didn't play a lot of games. So maybe that was part of it. And yeah, some of the young guys are playing well. Alejandro Kirk is an all-star again this year in a reserve role. So that plays because, when they were playing well a couple years ago, he was an all-star starting catcher at the all-star game, which is for a guy with his body is just kind of funny because it's just like, that's baseball.
Right. And hitting over 300, driving in some runs, hitting at a good spot in their order. He doesn't strike out a ton either. He knows how to take a walk. He's an above average catcher. He does a really nice job, and it's good to see him back.
Yep.
I think he'll probably get an at bat or two in Atlanta for sure.
Yeah, and the Brewers are the other team. They're just doing what the Brewers do. But Christian Yelich has kind of recaptured his magic. But no one else is really. I mean, William Contreras is hitting under 250. Churio is right around 250. Joey Ortiz has been not great, but he's hitting a couple homers, right? Caleb Durbin's been okay, but serviceable, I guess. But they are pitching very well. The other night when Mizrowski was throwing, and he's one of the most electric arms right now in baseball, their average fastball from him through the bullpen, through McGill, was 99.6 miles an hour. Like, that was like their average. It was like they're just throwing gas. So
who do they have? Like Uribe through,
Uribe,
and
there was one other guy. I can't remember. They just every guy in the Brewers bullpen throws really hard. And that's that swing and miss stuff. The Cubs bullpen has been very good, but the big difference is they're not getting the swing and miss. The Brewers get a lot of swing and miss because they're throwing really hard. So
they have a good defense too. They have a really good defense.
They won the Team Gold Glove last year. I don't think they'll win it this year. They've just made too many mistakes already, but they play a solid brand of baseball, and they continue to do that. Again, all these guys are good. It's not a fluke that these guys are in the major leagues. So just because you haven't heard of them doesn't mean they're not good.
They're not good, right?
But the Brewers are doing it, leaning heavy on their pitching because they're not outscoring teams by 10 runs. They did the other night versus the Dodgers on Monday, but that's an anomaly for them. They won the last two games. I think the Dodgers scored 3 runs in the whole series, and 2 of them were today. So it's like they've been struggling, but Brewers they're playing good baseball. Since June, they are one of the best teams in baseball.
Right. I didn't read, I think it was just a tweet, but or maybe it was a conversation that I didn't read too much into, but Jeff Passan said, and to not quote him exactly, but roundabout way, he says the Brewers are an impact bat away from being a World Series contender. And it's like, well, they keep playing this brand of baseball, that pesky brand of baseball that Pat Murphy likes to play. Yeah. And they tighten up the defense and continue to pitch well. I mean, I don't see why not. I mean, they just got the right kind of mix and guys willing to do the things that you need to do to win a ball game. Like, I think of guys like Sal Frelick, like he's a really nice player, can play all 3 outfield positions, is willing to lay down a bunt, can stretch a single into a double, steal a base. Guys like that, I mean, are very important. And he's not hitting 220; he's hitting closer to 300. So it's another guy who's
pitching and defense is what plays in the postseason. And honestly, what has plagued the Brewers in the postseason is their pitchers like Devin Williams, the best closer in baseball for the previous 3 seasons, letting up a 3-run homer in a Game 3. Like, it's those kind of fluky little things. Or Trent Grisham a couple of years ago, booting a ball in right field that lost them that series. It's been those little things. And in the playoffs, it's just, you got to get to the dance, right? And the Brewers have done a really good job at getting to the dance. Unfortunately, it hasn't. Well, unfortunately, whatever perspective you want to look from it, it hasn't gone their way. However, they pitching plays, and they are pitching. As long as you carry a healthy rotation and bullpen into the postseason, you have a really good chance. Because look at the Tigers last year. If you can't score against them, they almost went to the World Series, and they were a year ahead, as we can see, as they're kind of moving that into this season, it's like, wow, there's actually a really talented roster instead of just
Hmm.
a bunch of thrown together guys from everyone
Right.
else's scrap heap. Zach McKinstry and Javi Baez not on the roster in the postseason, but
Right. And now they're all stars, both of them.
now they have four starters. Riley Greene, we'll get in the All Star starters, but
Right.
you have four starters in the All Star game plus a Tarek Skubal in there.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's hard to avoid that. Some teams not doing well. I know we talked about the Braves playing a little bit better baseball. They are not anymore.
They're
Um,
terrible.
they are 2-8 their last 10. They have slipped into sellers, in my opinion, 39 and
Yeah.
51, 13 and a half games behind the Phillies.
They have to
Not
sell.
not good. I have
No.
seen things about what it would take for the Brewers to get Ronald Acuna Jr.
Oh boy. Ooh.
I don't know. If you're the Braves, I mean, Ozzie Albies hasn't been great. Matt Olson has been
No.
hitting okay, but you have some pieces you can move, and you
Right.
have so many injuries. Swallenbach just went on the IL again. And it's just they've had arm injury after arm injury. Bryce Elder's been brutal. So
Hmm.
Braves not good. Nationals have also been dropping down too.
Yeah.
The other team has been the Yankees have been really scuffling. 3-7 in their last 10. And also, we can check on the Mets here real quick. Mets are 5-5, so they're starting
Right.
to level off. But there's a stretch there where New York baseball was putrid, but it's
Yes.
dropped the Yankees down to 3 games behind the Blue Jays, and just because
Right.
they're surging. So
Yeah.
again, I think that's a
Yeah. I
testament
think.
to how the Cubs are playing
I
been playing.
think Acuna could be a really interesting piece to move.
Mm-hmm.
I know that he's not super happy with the Braves front office and how I don't know if it's how they're treating him, but I think he might want to sign an extension or something. Like he's just not been he's been a little bit disgruntled, uh, and he's been playing at an MVP level. So
Yeah.
if the Brewers were to trade for a guy like Acuna, you'd most definitely have to give up Jesus Made, who's their number one overall
Yes.
prospect.
Yep.
Made would have to be involved. Um, they have a lot of other really talented players, but they just have a knack for doing that. I was talking to Nick the other day, and he said he wouldn't be surprised to see some of those younger guys get moved up to them in Appleton because they have like 3 picks in the first 68. So they could probably draft a nice college guy who's ready, and he'd probably be surging up the list. But Made is very special. But so is Ronald Acuna. So if you got to part with a couple guys, you've proven that you can draft well and develop talent well. You might not miss Made as much if you're able to get a return like Acuna, and he can propel you to the next level.
If you're the Brewers, at some point you have to buy. Right? You can't just keep doing this endless repeat cycle of play the kids, play the kids, play the kids, let them walk in free agency. So I don't know what that deal looks like, but if they're probably going to want a package because
Yeah.
you can't get Ronald Acuna for nothing. So they're probably going to want 5 to 6 players, your top prospect, a bunch of pitchers, whatever it is with control, because that means they're rebuilding, right?
Right.
And if Acuna's not happy, that's part of it too. It's not like football where you give him away for a 7th-round draft pick. That's not how that works. He still has value. He's still going to play. And his contract, I would say, is relatively friendly based on the player that he is. But, yeah, if you have that opportunity, Jackson Chourio is not a good center fielder. He's
No.
okay. He's got a good arm. He has made countless mistakes in center field already.
Right.
He is athletic. He can go get the ball. Ronald Acuna would be an upgrade at center field, and then you could put Chourio back in right where his arm is the asset.
Right.
And then there's
But Ronald
they're scary.
I think Ronald plays right.
But he would be a center. I would think he would be an upgrade in center field over Chourio.
He could do it, but
has done it, but
he's been a right fielder.
But they have Michael Harris, who also has not been playing well.
Right.
I'd argue Michael Harris is a better defender. That's why Acuna isn't right. But either way,
Right.
Either way,
Michael Harris is an elite defender.
Yeah.
That's why he's there.
That is the move. All right. Well, all-star list for this year. Again, there's not a lot to argue with the starters unless you don't like the Tigers. But you have Cal Raleigh at catcher, Vlad Guerrero Jr. at first for the AL, Gleyber Torres at second, Jose Ramirez, Jacob Wilson, who's been electric, Aaron Judge, Riley Green, Javi Baez, though he is playing shortstop now, is the starting center fielder.
Yeah.
Will he play? I guess he has to because he was elected the center fielder. And Ryan O'Hearn for Baltimore, who is having a solid year. And then starting pitching, I would assume would be Tarek Skubal, although Hunter Brown is also having a good start to
Scoops is that, man.
his year. National League, you have Will Smith, Freddie Freeman, Ketel Marte, Manny Machado, Lindor, okay. Acuna, I don't think has played enough games, but it is a fan vote. So Acuna's in, PCA, Kyle Tucker, Shohei Ohtani, and I would guess, of course, Matthew Boyd is the best. No, it'd probably be Paul Skeens or Yamamoto, who got lit up by
it's
Monday.
Paul. Paul's the guy.
I would imagine Paul Skeens is going to start.
Paul.
And I would imagine Tarek Skubal will
It's
start.
Paul and Tarek. Like, it's those guys. Those are the two.
So, of the starters, again, we got the whole reserve list too. We know how those are picked by the managers and players. In your eyes, who is missing? I guess we'll start with the American League. Who's missing from the American League, or who shouldn't be there?
Right. American League. I mean, when it comes to starters, I agree. Like, the National League, to me, like, everybody who's there probably deserves it. There has been a very, very big grumbling on this in the social media world about Juan Soto not being there. To me, like, he's had 1 month. He went off in June. And then he's tapering off a little bit in July, still doing well in July, but he was brutal the first couple months. 1 month of good baseball, to me, is not gonna. I mean, unless you're Ronald Acuna, who is hurt, but like, Juan Soto's been playing the whole time. So people have been saying Soto, but the NL, to me, everyone is pretty deserving. At least the starters. From the AL, I don't really agree with Vladdy at first base. That's definitely a fan vote. I think Aranda for Tampa Bay has been ahead above everybody else. Stat-wise, he's playing a good first base. He got elected as a reserve, which if he didn't, I would have been a little bit disappointed. I don't really agree with Javi starting in center. I think Byron Buxton was more deserving, which I'm glad that he got elected as a reserve. Javi is having a nice season. He's doing well at multiple positions. He's really, really been important to the Tigers' success, but I do not think he deserved to be a starter. But as far as, I mean, that's just the starting list. As far as snubs are concerned, looking at the list, I think George Springer should definitely be there. He's played well enough. He's been the best hitter on the best team in the American League East right now. I think there are
AL reserves in the outfield are Byron Buxton, Stephen Kwan, Julio Rodriguez.
No.
I would replace Julio Rodriguez.
That's a no.
For sure.
Julio Rodriguez is an elite defender, and that's it. I feel like the league wants him to be a star so bad. And we talked about Julio not that long ago, and I love him as a player. Great, like, nice player, not a superstar, doesn't perform like a superstar, did not deserve to be an all-star. He's hitting 245. His OPS isn't even 800, I don't think. He does not deserve to be there. There are, like, Springer should be there over him, at least him. I mean, he should not be there. I think in the NL for shortstop, I think Trey Turner should be the starter. He's not even there. He leads the league in hits.
Trey Turner is not on the All-Star team at all. The
Right.
backup shortstop would be Ellie De La Cruz, which is
Right.
fine.
Who deserves it?
I understand he's exciting, but I can agree with that. I don't think Francisco Lindor I had to look at his stats to see. I mean, he's hitting 260. He's having a better season than he has had to start the year. I get that, but yeah, Trey Turner's been every bit as good.
Right. And I also think that Jeremy Pena should be the starting shortstop for the AL. I don't think Wilson should be the starter. Wilson is good, but Jeremy Pena
Uh,
is having an excellent year, and he's a better defensive shortstop too.
Jeremy
Bobby Witt's
Pena.
Bobby Bobby Witt's a better defensive shortstop than Wilson. Wilson is there because he was hitting 350 at the time, and he's starting to drop off a little bit. Still a great player,
Yeah.
deserves to be there, but I can't say that he's better than Witt or Pena.
It is tough. I was surprised he was named the starter. I'm happy he's on the team. I think he has deserved it just based on his bat. There's not a lot of you're not watching a lot of Sacramento baseball these days.
No.
So yeah, I was a little surprised to see that Bobby Witt didn't just get there based on merit. I can see why Jeremy Pena didn't get it over someone like Bobby Witt, but the fact that Jacob Wilson got it is yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting, but they're all three on the team, so I at least feel okay
Right.
about that.
Right.
But
I mean,
yeah,
I
the
know
only
I
one
know
of
you
the-
have a couple snubs, I know,
Yeah.
that are pretty like boop 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 like
Mhm. Yeah.
who can you think of right now? Like who's been snubbed?
I mean, it's you're right. Out of the starting lineups, there's really not too much I would pull. Again, I'm happy for Javi. I agree with that he probably shouldn't be starting. Um, I think Seiya Suzuki is a massive snub.
Yeah.
He's leading the league in RBIs. He has more homers in the first half and RBIs than he has in his entire season. For any season, for the 3 seasons he's played Major League Baseball, he has more homers and more RBIs the entire season in the first half. Like, that's wild. So the fact he's not there, that's a little bit of a sham. You can apples and oranges with, some of these guys. I don't think Jazz Chisholm belongs on an all-star
No.
roster.
No.
And that is not because you must have one person per team on there. They have multiple Yankees, so don't
Yeah.
really understand that.
I don't understand why he's there. There's plenty of deserving guys. Like
Yeah.
he's an infielder. Like there's plenty of infielders who are not on the list who, yeah. I also think Michael Bush is a massive snub. Matt Olson should not. Matt Olson, like you said before, he's doing better. Michael Bush arguably could be the starter with the numbers that he's put up.
WRC plus, he is the first rated first baseman.
Right.
I agree. I mean, it's come on late, so it is tough, but he has been the best player in baseball over the last 2 weeks.
Yep.
29th overall in stats. Gino Suarez made it. I'm not sure why. I know he's hit some homers, but he's hitting like 212. Like, I don't understand that. Corbin Carroll's been a little banged up, but that's fine. I don't know. I feel like of the guys you have in there, yeah, he should have been there. I don't know. Yeah.
I don't think Fernando Tatis should be there. I don't think he's and like for me it's a lot of pitcher snubs, right? I mean, there's lots of pitchers. Like some of the stuff, it's like Clayton Kershaw got like the Pujols treatment. He got like the legend selection, but it's like, dude, you got some really good pitchers. Not a single New York Mets starter made the All-Star team. Like they're one of the best starting staffs in baseball. Like Senga could be there. Peterson could be there. You make an argument for Clay Holmes. The only Met pitcher is Edwin Diaz, who's having a great year. But to leave those 3 off the list, Casey Mize has had an excellent season for the Tigers. There's definitely someone who you could use him to replace. Seth Lugo, Nick Pivetta, Framber Valdez, Christopher Sanchez. None of these guys are all-stars. It's like, how are they not all-stars?
Yeah,
like,
and that's where I know there has to be an angel, but you see Kikuchi,
right? He's having an okay year. He's doing all right.
Right.
I'm just glad it's not Trout. Like Trout doesn't deserve it.
Yeah. And it looks like the pitching staff is pretty light. I don't know if all these guys are going to pitch. And then you also have a White Sox. You have Shane Smith in there too.
Right.
So
one guy who was an injury replacement who I was very upset
yes,
by was Andrew Abbott.
yep, he should have
Um,
been there already. Yep,
Abbott is filthy. I got to see him in person when I was in Cincy for the Cubs series. Like Andrew Abbott is nasty. Like
yep.
when I didn't see his name on the list, I'm like I was just baffled. Like
Yeah.
how could you leave that guy off? And then he obviously was a replacement. But yeah, I don't understand. I mean, I'm getting tired of this fan vote stuff. I think that you should really just select the best players, and those people should play.
Yeah,
Um,
or
have an evolve,
have a hybrid
right?
system. I mean, if you value the fan vote at a point 0.5 and then the players and managers and whoever else at another point 0.5 and then have a like the players know who should be there, but it's part of it. It's a fan engagement sport. They want to decide who goes. Um, Maybe they should have a little more. I don't know. Yeah, it's tough to argue. You want the best players there. You want the players who are, and that's why they would put Mike Trout there because it's like everyone wanted to see Mike Trout. Um, Again, I can't. I don't have too many snubs, other than the guys you watch every day. I don't think Nico Horner not making it is a snub, but is he the best second baseman defensively in baseball? 100%. The numbers support
Yeah,
that. Is he the second highest clutch hitting hitter in baseball in terms of runner in scoring position RBIs? Absolutely. He's right behind Aaron Judge. So I can make that argument that he's that much better than Brendan Donovan and that the Cubs are in first place and they're playing a better brand of baseball. So
hmm
you can scream those things, but does it really matter? No. Will he ever make an All-Star team? I don't know, but
right,
this seemed like a year where he was having a really good first half. So again, I
right,
don't have a ton of
and
mountaintop screaming for anybody, but that's
right. Donovan's just been a little bit better with the bat,
yeah,
and that's really and he's a really good defender too. But Nico's the best. So, is there anybody? There's lots of first time selections on this
hmm
list, but was there anybody who you were like excited or happy for? Like someone who you're like, oh, like much deserved. Glad they made it. Um, I have one in mind. I'm curious to know if you had one or two, maybe.
I mean, mine is Javi Baez. Like it really like seeing his name back on there again. I don't think he deserves to be starting in center field, but
hmm
just that he's back to a point where we can real like, oh, this guy's still really good at baseball. He's had a rough couple of years, but like the things he's doing, and now he's playing shortstop and making ridiculous plays over there too. But seeing his name back in the fold, I think validates how good of a player he was in the past and still is, and still can be. So
Yeah,
that's the feel good name for me. Seeing that
right.
pop up again.
Right. I agree with that 100%. And Javi being Javi is great for the game. And to see him doing things that he did in his glory days and doing things that no one else can do as well.
Yep.
It's pretty cool. But I was really excited to see Matt Boyd get selected.
Yep.
I was really
Yep.
pulling for him. He has been the anchor of this staff, and it's not anything that anyone was really thinking would happen. He had a really, really good end of the season last year with Cleveland. He was a very nice piece. He kind of propelled them forward a little bit. But when the Cubs picked him, I didn't really know what to expect, and I thought if he could be healthy, he'd be a solid contributor. Did I expect him to be the best pitcher on the first place Cubs going into the All-Star break? No, but he's throwing harder than he ever has. He's mixing his pitches well. The catchers are really enjoying receiving his pitches. The defense loves playing behind him. He's got some fire. He's got that veteran leadership. He's just been a really model citizen, and I'm very happy that he got recognized by the league for his hard work that he's put in.
At age 34 too, I think it's a great accomplishment. I agree. Yeah, he's fit the bill. Didn't really know what to expect, but that was a good name to see on the list for sure. I
Yeah,
agree.
for sure. Yep.
All right. Well, we have beginning the season, we had our all BCIP team. Mine did not turn out super well based on how we started, but this is a chance to change that up and change how we're viewing things midway through the season. We have a better kind of picture of how these guys are panning out. Even guys, so I was listening to the Brewer game on the radio today, and they're talking about Freddie Freeman's had a rough series, and his batting average dropped from like 307 to 301. But a 6-point batting drop at this point in the season is pretty significant.
Right.
When earlier in the season, if you get a hit, your batting average raises 30 points. So we're at a consistent point in the season where we know what these guys are doing, and it's a good place to start at catcher. Don't think there's a lot of conversation around this.
No.
My preseason pick was Adley Rutschman, which was not a good pick because he has not played well at all. But the correct pick is Cal Raleigh. Any conversation?
Hey, Jumper!
Leading the league in homers. I don't, what else do you need there?
I was pretty confident with that pick. And I mean, the fact that I
didn't see it.
Yeah, the fact that, I mean, it's tough because he's in Seattle, and it's not some of those West Coast teams you don't get to watch very often. But yeah, Cal Raleigh is such a special player, and he plays the game with such joy. Son of a coach, he went to Florida State. Has really been just an excellent player since he burst onto the scene. But the fact that he's able to hit like this and play defense at that high of a level. Remember, this is the Platinum Glove winner from last year, and that's at the catcher position. He is an elite catcher. He's so good with the bat that when he has a day off behind the plate, he's in the lineup. You don't see stuff like this from catchers very often. I really, regardless of how Seattle ends up, if he puts up numbers, he should be the MVP of the AL.
Oh, I think he's the MVP. Yeah, 100%.
He's ridiculous. So yeah, it's great. I might scoop up a jersey, to be honest. Like, it might be I don't know if I want the Raleigh on the back or if I want the Big Dumper on the back.
Elena's favorite player right now is Big Dumper.
Big Dumper.
She knows she can see when he's up to bat or behind the plate. She goes, "Oh, yeah, there he is."
There he is.
Yeah, he set a franchise record for the Seattle Mariners, a franchise who had Ken Griffey Jr., who held the record before, for first half home runs. So very impressive. Not much more to say there.
Let's hit 60, Cal. Let's hit 60. That would be awesome. That would be so awesome.
I don't see why not, unless teams just stop pitching. First base. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I picked Vlad Guerrero Jr. I am not going to stay there, although I think he'll have a better second half than first. I think the power, not that he's had a bad first half, but the power just hasn't been there. He's gonna catch fire. He's gonna start hitting bombs. That's just the way that he's operated. I think I want my first baseman for the midway point. I like Pete Alonso. Pete, to me, is the best first baseman in baseball all the way around. He's had a resurgent offensive season, leading the charge for the Mets.
Yeah, he's been
obviously playing
bargain
great
deal for them.
Great glove. Yeah, exactly. Bargain deal, this 2-year contract. Like, the Mets definitely gambled in the right way, and they're getting the most value out of that position right now. Pete for sure for me.
Yeah, and I'm washing my first because I know I didn't pick this first baseman. That's fine. So we're just going with what's going on right now. Today for me at the midway point, and it's again based on the last month. It's got to be Michael Busch. Last season, 21 homers, 65 RBIs. This year at the break, he's got 18 and 56. He's got 8 home runs in the last month. He is the number 1 ranked player, not just offense, number 1 ranked player in baseball for the last 2 weeks. He should be an all-star. He should be a Gold Glove. I don't know if he'll get enough recognition. If he keeps hitting like this, as bad as it sounds, because it's not a hitting award, if he keeps hitting like this, that means his bat is in the lineup, though, every day. And his glove is in the lineup. He, in my opinion, should win the Gold Glove. And again, just he's been the best player in baseball. So for me, it is Michael Busch. He's just doing everything. He's hitting 465 the last 2 weeks, 345 for the last month.
Yeah.
More to
And
go.
and yeah, they gotta cut it out with this platoon stuff. Like
Yep.
he should be hitting against everybody, not just righties. Like, do not sit him against lefties. We don't want to see Justin Turner play. I don't want to see
No,
John
we're
Birdie
done with that.
play. We're done with that.
Yep.
Like we need to like the Cubs. Cubs need to add another solid bat and stick with the boys every day. Like
Yep.
they got to be playing these guys. That Bush is a nice pick. It'll be cool to see how he finishes out.
Yep. Absolutely. Second base. I can continue. I picked Ketel Marte. I think I had Nico Horner, and I would still hold with that. I would
Yeah.
still hold that pick holds up, but I'm going to go with Ketel Marte.
Yeah.
Strictly based on the power number. He has not played a ton of, like, he's played most of the games. He's been banged up a little bit, but 19 homers already, and also hitting 291. I like seeing those high 290s batting averages.
Yep.
291 batting average, 978 OPS. Pretty
Yep.
good.
Yes, I am going to stick with Marte because Marte was my preseason pick.
Yeah.
Yeah, power off the charts. He came back from injury, hit the ground running. I would say sprinting at an Olympic level,
Yep.
hitting bombs. I also love the higher batting average comped with the higher OPS. I like the slug. He's an elite defender also.
Mm-hmm.
The Diamondbacks are underachieving a little bit. I don't know if they'll make it out of the West, but Marte is going to probably be a Silver Slugger. Will be in the Gold Glove finalists. He's an excellent player.
Well,
Good to see.
maybe because there's quite a bit of competition at second base. You have Brendan Donovan hitting 293. Nico's hitting 283, 285 in that area. So there's a decent amount of competition that you got to keep that batting average up, or there's some guys creeping down your neck. So it's not just going to be a one-horse race for second base at least.
Yeah.
Third base for me, old reliable, sticking with Jose Ramirez. That was my preseason
Yep.
pick.
Same.
299, 16 homers, 44 RBIs. I'm pretty sure he just puts out the stats all year long. You could look at his stats halfway through, he will have half of his normal stats. 3/4 way through, have 3/4 of stats. He just is a machine. 867 OPS. Kind of cooled off the last month, but still the 20th ranked player overall.
Right.
I think he holds up. And again, the Guardians haven't been great. It's not his fault though.
No, it's not. And what's funny is that you see like player interviews, and I see a lot of stuff on social media. I follow a lot of baseball accounts, different personalities, whether they're podcasters or apparel accounts, fan accounts, all that stuff. And you have these reporters, these on-field reporters asking players questions about who's the most underrated guy in baseball, who's the most underrated. Like almost every person says Jose Ramirez. It's always Jose Ramirez. And it's like, is it because he plays in Cleveland?
Yeah.
Probably. It's a smaller market, but man, it's like that guy just gets after it. And he's been a bulldog since he stepped onto the scene. Like he just does everything well. He is as close to a 5-tool player as you'll get. I mean, he is just a solid player. And yeah, any team would be lucky to have him. And I think Cleveland as an organization knows how lucky they are to have him as their cornerstone. I mean, that's a guy you build around.
Yep. Shortstop is where we might part this trend of picking the same players. I have a hard time seeing something like this and not latching onto it. I know he may not deserve to be starting the All-Star game, but the guy's got 111 hits in 331 at bats. If he keeps up that pace, I don't remember the last time I saw 200 hits, let alone 221 hits. I don't think he can keep up that pace, but Jacob Wilson hitting 335 for me is hitting all the vibes of Nomar and Larry Walker in 97 or whatever year they were doing the batting average thing. I like it. I want more of that. 847 OPS. Sign me up all day for Jacob Wilson hitting. I think he doubled his dad's career home runs already. He's got 9 homers. His dad was not a power hitter. Maybe his dad can help him a little bit with this. No, he seems like a fine defender. Again, I'm not hypercritically watching Sacramento Athletic games, so I'm not searching there for the defense other than Denzel Clark when he makes those ridiculous plays. But the hitting stats alone, if he gets to 200 hits, that just looks really good to my eyes. So 111 already at this point in the season. Congratulations to that. I'm going Jacob Wilson at shortstop. I definitely didn't have him on my preseason list because I'm pretty sure I didn't even know he existed.
Yeah. I did know that he existed, but yeah, it's cool to see what he's doing. I mean, his bat has really translated everywhere that he's gone. It's obviously a legacy type player too, with his dad being a very, very good shortstop for a lot of years. But yeah, he definitely belongs. I feel bad that he's playing for the organization that he's playing for, but again, it's not about you play for that team, you're loyal to that team while you're on the team, and then you move. Most guys move on, so maybe he'll get out of there. Maybe they'll make some changes. But yeah, I like a lot of guys on the Athletics. They have a lot of fun players. It just sucks they have to go through what they're going through. My shortstop, I'm going to stick with Bobby Witt Jr. He's my favorite player in the game to watch. He's probably going to creep up in the MVP voting. He's going to keep putting up the numbers, keep playing great defense. Always. You just kind of expect it from him now. You expect greatness. You expect him to have 2 or 3 hits almost every time out. When he goes 0 for, he probably makes a few stellar plays in the field. Yeah, big Bobby Witt Jr. guy for here.
Yep, absolutely. Don't argue with that. All-star again. Left field. I don't want to recall who I picked because I don't want to know. They just weren't good picks. Maybe this is a good pick. I have no idea. But right now I'm going with Riley Green, starter for the AL. Last year's stats for the season, 24 homers, 74 RBIs, 262 average. At the midway point this year, 22 homers, 72 RBIs, 282 batting average, 99 hits. Another guy who has a chance to get 200 hits. Well, I just don't. I mean, again, this is the second guy that now that I'm seeing that's almost gonna double his stats from last year. That's just It's kind of mind-boggling. And he played every game last year. It wasn't like he missed a chunk. I think he was platooning a little bit because he only had 512 at bats, but still pretty darn impressive what he's doing. Very deserving of an all-star nod, but also just doing a really good job in left field. I wish the Cubs left fielder had those kind of stats.
Yeah.
But I digress.
Yeah. Riley Green is, and here's the thing, he has, and I don't want to keep saying this because it's pretty common, but I mean, has superstar written all over him. I mean, the Tigers picked him very high. He's been their top prospect for a while, and he's so young. I think he's only 23, high school draft pick, but it's great to see him put it all together, seeing the power. He's not a small guy. I think he's like 6'3". But yeah, he could do everything. He is a very good defender as well. It's been fun to watch him grow and really lead this Tigers team, their offense, because that's something they were lacking last year was offense, and I don't feel like they have much of a problem scoring runs most of the time now. A lot of guys are hitting, rebounding. Torque is having a really nice year power-wise. Javi, Wenzel Perez. Yeah, I mean, they have a lot of, behind the plate, they're pretty solid. They're pretty – I would look for them to add a bat, but yeah, Riley Green has really been leading the charge. I was going to follow suit because I really like the Green pick. My left fielder for the second half is James Wood. I love watching him play. I look for his highlights all the time. Obviously, I'm not watching a lot of Nationals games, and they have tapered off a little bit, but a lot of exciting young players. That Juan Soto trade is the one that keeps on giving because the guys that they received are just studs. And yeah, James Wood has surpassed his rookie year stats in fewer games, has incredible power, effortless routes and stuff in the outfield. He's 6'7". He's got the long strides, but yeah, I mean, just a special player. Has power to all fields, which is fun to watch. I think he's in the home run derby. I'm not sure completely.
I didn't see his name, but he's been slow releasing, so it's possible.
Right, right. But yeah, I mean, James Wood, I think he's 21 or 22 years old also. Just fun to see the really, really young guys who have that mature, calm, and presence about them. And it's just really good for the game moving forward.
Yep, and not a pity selection because the Nationals had multiple All Stars and Mackenzie Gore as well, who is also from
Right.
that Juan Soto trade. So good for
Yes.
them.
Right.
Center field, I don't think there's a ton of conversation here. Well, there is because he's the best center fielder in baseball.
Yep.
Pedro Armstrong for me.
Yep.
Obvious shirts. They do a lot of funny but obvious things. I think someone needs to make an obvious shirt of PCA and his Fangraph projections for 2025.
Yeah.
Because someone
Yeah.
copy and paste. And last year, again, it's fair because you just don't know what you're going to get. But last year, 10 homers, 47 RBIs, 27 stolen bases.
Yeah.
Pretty sure that's what Fangraphs projected for this year. At the
Yeah.
All-Star break, 23 home runs, 67 RBIs, and 27 stolen bases halfway through the year. 269, 850 OPS. Best defending center fielder in baseball without a question, even barring the gaffe that he had the other night. Number 3 rated overall player in baseball total. For me, he has the edge for MVP over Ohtani because he plays the field.
Right.
He leads the league in outfield assists, and it's not even close. He has 9. I think the next closest center fielder has 3. Anything more to add to the PCA?
PCA caught a ball the other day that had a 0% catch. Oh man, what did they?
How could that even be if he caught the ball? And
It was
at
a
least
catch.
0.1,
It was a
right?
catch. It was a catch. Like it was like a catch probability, and at a 0% catch probability, just because of how far you need to go and how the ball came off the bat and all that stuff. But yeah, it's just the instincts, the speed, the route, like all of it. The guy has it. I think if he is able to finish decently offensively, if he doesn't drop off a cliff, if he's able to be like a 40-40 guy, there is no freaking way you could give it to Shohei Ohtani. There's no way. There's no way. That would be a travesty. Pete would have to drop off significantly. But if he's like 40-40 with 100 RBIs and is still keeping up the defense and the Cubs are in first place, there's no flipping way that you could not give him the MVP in the NL. No way.
I agree. And again, you go through hot and cold streaks, but you always bring your glove out to the field. So, and ask Shohei about cold streaks because he's on a mighty cold one. His average dropped from 301 to now I think he's below 280.
He is.
And he's striking out at a good clip too. So, again, these things go in waves. And when you only have your bat, and now he's pitching a little bit, but I've also seen his stolen bases creep down a little bit. But we'll get into that in a minute. Right field. I would love to continue this trend of Cub players. However, I don't think you can deny that Aaron Judge has been the best player in baseball. He is ranked number 1. He has 34 homers, 75 RBIs. Another one of these guys that could get 200 hits. Got 121 hits already. 360 average. 1205 OPS.
Woof.
If Cal Raleigh didn't have 36 homers, he would be the MVP. Again, we'll see who keeps up the pace here, this torrid pace. But Aaron Judge is having another special season again.
Yeah. I am going to stay on the Cub train, and I am going to say Mr. Tucker. I'm going to stick with Mr. Tucker. I just think that the impact that he has had on this roster, on these hitters, take the numbers out of it. His numbers are great, not as great as Judge's, but I don't think Judge has had the impact on his teammates that Tucker has had. And he's also not playing the same kind of defense that Tucker's playing. You're seeing career years out of PCA, career years out of Michael Busch, career year out of Seiya Suzuki. they are just a different team. And the thing is, like, even when Tucker is not hitting the ball, like, he just knows, it's just professional at bat after professional at bat. I was watching the game yesterday, and there was a couple times, like, the Twins had some nasty pitchers throwing some nasty stuff yesterday, like lots of sliders. Tucker took 2 walks where he was down in the count early and kind of just like took, not even taking borderline pitches, like a pitch that would put someone away. He just saw it and let the slider drop out of the zone. And then it's like he just won the battle both times. And it's like drawing a walk and looking not lost doing it. Like, he just looked so confident, so locked in. He just didn't get the pitches that he was looking for, and he did the right thing. So to me, it's more about the impact that he has made on this team, which is why I'm going to stick with him. I think he's going to finish strong. I'm hoping that results in positive things for the Cubs. I hope that he is a player that they can build, that they would want to build around. I hope they give him as much money as he would desire, because that's the guy. If they don't move forward with Tucker, I don't know what they're going to do. I have no idea.
So I don't know if you have his strikeout numbers in front of you. I do not.
I could pull him.
But this was one point that they were making. I was watching MLB Tonight, and they were talking about the hitter that Kyle Tucker is. So his hot and cold zone, every hitter's got him. We remember it from video games. They're all over the place. His hot zone, though, and every pitcher knows this, is inside of the plate. His spray chart is, I'm going to hit the ball to right field. I'm going to pull the ball a lot. And pitchers know this. And yet, he does not chase. He does not strike out. He waits for that pitch inside. And you're right, to your point. If it's not that pitch, he spits on it. And then he digs in the dirt a little deeper. But he's not going to strike out. He'll foul that ball off. He'll do whatever. But pitchers know he wants the ball inside. They know he's going to go to the right side of the field. It does. They go, he is such a good hitter. He's going to essentially show his hand and still do it in spite of you. He's that good. So I agree with the lineup changing ability that he has. I think for the Cubs, he has by far been the MVP. Even though the PCA is having the season he's having, I think it's because of a guy like Kyle Tucker coming in and having the impact in the lineup and protecting these guys. Because again, you can pitch around him, but then you're on base. He's getting on base almost at a 400 on base percentage. That means 40% of the time, Seiya Suzuki's got a guy on base to try and knock in. That's what that means. So it's and you're seeing it with Seiya's increase in RBIs, and then even Seiya just sitting on the pull fastball to hit more homers this year. It's just allowing him to do that. So I agree. However, I'll disagree because the numbers for Aaron Judge are just so eye-popping.
Right.
But I can agree with that. 100% that the impact he's making on the Cubs specific roster is much larger.
And stats pulled: 58 walks, 56 strikeouts. Pretty good.
Yep. And again, to walk more than you're striking out is phenomenal. I know they always have the Tony Gwynn strikeout numbers. I don't think that's possible in today's game for some of these guys. Maybe Luis Ariz is not striking out. I think Luis Ariz is on pace to have a Tony Gwynn type season.
Right.
But that's Kyle Tucker is also a power hitter, so he's going to strike out a little more. But 56 strikeouts for what he does at the plate is phenomenal.
Yeah. Yep. That's why I picked him.
Yep. I can't argue with it. DH. Again, we're having a lot of Cubs here. I know everyone likes to go Shohei Ohtani by default. It is Seiya Suzuki. He leads the league in RBIs, 14th ranked overall hitter. Again, his first half stats, I think we picked Shohei at the beginning of the season. Again, that's still a good pick. He's still doing things. Last year, 21 homers, 73 RBIs for the entire season. This year in the first half, 25 homers, 77 RBIs. He's having a career season. As DH goes, he's played a little bit of the field. I think he's proven he's a DH by doing that. He's more of that. I think he was an all-star snub. I don't think he gets enough respect for that DH role. I'm happy he's settling into that, because at the beginning of the year, I think we were like, well, if he doesn't want a DH, he's expendable, which he was. Now he's a guy that you need to have in your lineup because he's an integral part of it. And he's kind of showing that. So I want to shed light on that more than anything. He's got 6 less homers than Ohtani. That's really all it is. If you want to look at the numbers that way, he's been a very productive hitter in this Cubs lineup. So I'm going Seiya Suzuki.
That's a great pick. I'd like to go with Seiya, but I cannot deviate from Shohei. I mean, just the things that he's been able to do, and we've had conversations about him before, and I think he could really be whatever the Dodgers need him to be. There's not a lot of players that you could say that about. I just pulled his stats earlier. He has 88 runs scored already, which is unbelievable. He has 31 homers, which is crazy. His wins above replacement is, I think it's at 4, a little bit more than 4. Not that we like that stat too much because of what you're compared to. He's kind of a unicorn in that he really shouldn't be a DH. He should probably be playing a position somewhere. But the fact that he's allowed to just focus on his hitting for the most part, that is an advantage for him. And the guy is just a master of his craft. He's just very dynamic on the offensive end of things, and it's hard to go away from that. So I'm going to stick with Mr. Ohtani with my DH.
The only hill I will die on with him is last year when he had his 54 homer, 59 stolen base season. Everyone's going, oh my gosh, he's going to do this every year. He only has 12 stolen bases so far this year. So if you're going to tell me that pitching does not impact the hitting,
right?
Pitching is a lot with your legs. I think they're literally just going, hey, these stolen bases are not worth it. Don't worry about it. I don't know what the reason is. Maybe the situation's not coming up, but I feel like last year, again, he's walking a decent clip. He walked 3 times in the game yesterday. He walked twice today. It's not like he's not getting on first base.
Right.
I think there's just a conscious effort to not have him steal bases when he's, again, that's one aspect of the game. But to tell me that pitching doesn't impact his hitting at all, I think that's a big step.
And it'll be interesting to see what happens next year because they're trying to work him back into it. He's only throwing 1 or 2 innings at a time. Yeah. It's very difficult to get a gauge as to, like, will he be able to build up the stamina? Like, will the offense drop off even more if he's going out there and throwing 5, 6, 7 innings a start? Probably yes, but it's like, so you just got to pick your poison. Like, what do you want? Do you want him to be, what's more valuable to you? I think he's a generational type talent on the offensive end, and he is a very good pitcher. But not if he focused everything on pitching, I think he could be that way for pitching. But why would you not hit? Like, hitting is something that's
and where
more of a commodity.
Where this will play out the most is if they put him back into the starting rotation. I would imagine either late August is probably when they start putting him in the rotation. But when you have a full season, full spring training of him ramping up pitching, and then having it from day one where he's pitching opening day, we'll say, because he should be maybe your opening day starter. Okay, pitches opening day through the entire season, his offensive stats are going to sputter. He's not, because he's shown already at a younger age, 5 years ago with the Angels, that he struggled to do both. He still did them both well, but at the elite level we've been seeing the last couple of years when he has not been pitching at all. So that's the conversation that I have with it is it even worth it for him to pitch when they have 7 other Cy Youngs they're throwing out there? You know, maybe close or something. I don't know. But again, I digress on that. It's just, you know, I don't think he's going to be hitting 60 homers and striking out, 200 batters. I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah.
All right. Well, starting pitcher. Just for parody, because I know Tarek Skubal been phenomenal. I want to shed some light on someone else who's also been phenomenal. Hunter Brown is going to be my pitcher, just because, again, I want to shed light on him. 2.21 ERA, 110 innings so far, 9-3. He's been, again, Frommer's been good, but he's been the ace of the Astros staff. He was good last year with a 3.49 ERA, over 170 innings. I think he's having a better season this year. Um, he's just been really good in the first half.
Hmm.
Is he going to start the All Star game? It probably will be Tarek Skubal just because he's been a little bit better. But I still think it's good enough for at least to be mentioned on our list.
Yeah, and it's great to see Hunter Brown doing well. I mean, he's always had just nasty stuff, throws very hard. A couple years ago when he was, I think maybe it was last year where he struggled a little bit and then he finished strong, but like you just saw like the inflated ERA and him getting rocked and you're like he's way better than
Mm-hmm.
this. He did finish very strong. He's nasty. It's good to have a kind of a compliment to Frammer, who is your horse, your innings eater, been your best pitcher consistently for the past several years. Having the Hunter Brown's a righty, correct?
Yep.
I think he's a righty. So having your righty and having your lefty, both aces, it's cool to see. Hunter's also very young too. There's a lot of innings left in that tank. Very good pick. I have to stick with Scoobs though. I am a big fan of him. I love his personality. I love his competitive nature. He really likes to have fun out there too, but he's very intense. Is very very serious about his craft and precise. Loves Detroit. Loves his team. He's on another planet right now. It's very reminiscent of seeing those just dominant aces back in the day. Like watching Scherzer go out and do his thing, watching Verlander go out and do his thing, Johan Santana, Roy Halladay. Like he's got that kind of aura, and I think he's only going to keep ascending. He's only going to keep getting better. It's hard to believe you can get better than he's getting. The thing that I like the most about him is that he doesn't walk anybody. Like
Yeah.
he strikes out a lot of guys. He doesn't walk a lot of people.
Yeah.
So
Well,
he's
that's the thing
not let.
with
Yeah,
Hunter Brown
it's a
too.
battle,
His whip is under 1, and that's really
which
good.
is great.
So I
Yeah,
don't know what Scoobles is, but I know I pulled Hunter Brown's, and yeah, his whip is .94. Pretty darn
yeah,
good.
that is
Skubal,
ridiculous. I can pull up Scoops right now. 0.81.
.81. Again, they've both been really good. Skubal has just been
Right,
a little bit better. I'll
right.
just tip the hat
Yeah,
there.
he has the best whip in baseball, and 148 Ks to 14 walks.
Yeah.
Wow,
And again, if
wow.
Mizorowski pitches a little more, if Paul Skeens can pitch deeper into games, those guys will get that notoriety too. But these guys have just been horses
Right.
for good
Yeah.
teams. That's more of it what it is.
Yes.
For
Right.
really good
Right.
teams.
Right. And then closer was our last one.
Those was our last
Um,
one. Yeah,
yeah.
go ahead.
Um, for sure, Eddie Diaz. He has really returned to form. He's had a couple rough years in New York. It's really tough to pitch in New York. But he's back. ERA is sub 2. The Mets are one of the best teams in baseball. He's very, very solid back there. I mean, he's got a good compliment in Reed Garrett setting him up. They have a really good starting staff. They have a really good offense. So there's probably a little bit less pressure, but still closing in New York is tough, even if it's the Mets. Um, but yeah, it's just good to see him back. His Seattle days were fun. He kind of burst onto the scene and he was electric. And yeah, I mean, just good to see great closers being great.
Yeah.
It's been fun to
Yeah,
watch.
well, we both picked Classe, who has struggled this year after a really good 2024. I am also not going with Classe. I am going with Aroldis Chapman, who's been
Yeah,
really good. 36 innings pitched, 53 strikeouts, so almost a
yeah.
2-to-1 ratio. Um,
And he's 38
he's
years old.
38, 1.25 ERA, .78 WHIP with 15 saves.
Eight.
He's been a guy that's been linked. Like, should the Cubs go get him again and kick the tires on that? I think if the Red Sox, because they're getting, again, you're in 4th place in the East, and again, you're the 4th best team. Yeah, you just beat up on the Rockies, but how good are you? A 38-year-old closer who's pitching really well is a very high trade asset, especially if you may not be competing for a World Series. He could have some value for some other teams. but he's pitching really well. He's an all-star, as he should be. Yeah, it's, some guys just, it's kind of like I said last year, because some teams were trading for some second rate. I think the Royals traded for Lucas Ursig, and I was like, is that a guy you want closing games? Aroldis Chapman has won a World Series before. He's been there, done that. He's very experienced. I would be comfortable with a guy like that at the end of my bullpen.
Yeah. Yeah. And but biggest thing is, will the Red Sox be selling?
Yeah.
And how much are you willing to give up? If you're the Cubs and you're looking for back of the rotation help and Aroldis is available, are you willing to mortgage your future again?
Well, I don't think it's a
for that?
situation where you're giving up big prospects like a Gleyber Torres again, who is crazy. Full circle, he makes an all-star team now, but never
Yeah.
did for the Yankees. But that at the time, that was a huge prospect to give up for a rental player. 'Cause you knew, and then
Yeah.
and Aroldis Chapman went straight back to the Yankees. He couldn't run back there fast enough.
Yeah.
But the Yankees were done for the year, and they're like, okay, yeah, we don't need this guy. I don't think it's that kind of deal at all. I think it's the same thing. It's a rental. He's a 1-year rental, who's pitching really well right now, and you decide at the end of the year what you want to do with him. But I don't think it's that level of prospect this time around. They may want. I mean, I would say a couple of low A arms.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what their asking price is going to be if they are selling, but it would be an interesting thing, and I don't think it's going to cost you an Owen Casey or an Alcantara or a big pitching arm.
Yeah, well, Breslow has made it very clear that he is running the organization like a business, and he's not about putting anybody above the team or any player above the future or anything like that. So he's been showing that he's willing to ship people out of town or not resign people. He's taking it seriously, and the more that keeps coming out about Devers, I mean, I'm thinking the Red Sox made the right move. I just keep seeing more and more things that kind of support a removal from the clubhouse. So, yeah.
His attitude, it just, you know what? They can say, oh, they didn't talk to me. Oh, they signed me to be this player. The fact you're like a chameleon, and the second you go over to San Francisco, you change your attitude and you start taking grounders and you start, like, come on, man. Like, he looked like a child in these interviews with his arms crossed and his pouty face and like, oh, no, I play third base. I do this. I don't do this. You can't ask me to change my position. It's like, what are you talking about, dude?
Right.
You can't be that kind of guy. And it's, again, I can toot his horn all I want, like, for player morale and whatever. But when Ryan Noda was in Worcester playing for the Woo Sox, and they started playing better, they started talking about the kind of guy that he was and the camaraderie that he's bringing to the clubhouse, and that they noticed, he's bringing everybody up. Well, guys like that play, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you're a cancer in the locker room, yeah, to Breslow's point, yeah, get out of here. Like, you don't fit our culture because you're not willing to do what, like, that's what it takes to win World Series. And the Red Sox have won a World Series with Rafael Devers. But now you're the guy. You need to be the franchise. And you're going to act like that? You're going to pout in the corner because you can't play third base because we brought in a Gold Glover who's way better than you are in the field?
Right.
Like, come on, man. And then we need you because our first baseman blew his knee out, and you don't want to put your glove back on? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
I defended him for a long time, but I'm over it now. I mean, you hear stuff, and players haven't really gone out and called him out directly, but you can just see, and they don't think about him, they don't talk about him, they're just kind of treating it like it was whatever, and they're playing better without him.
Yeah, that's the funny thing about baseball. Sometimes it's not always the most talented roster, but it's the most congealed group of guys. We will probably hear about this in a couple years when some players retire and they start talking. This is separate from the Red Sox. This is a White Sox take from a couple years ago. But Clint Frazier has been talking a lot.
I saw that.
Clint Frazier. And he was talking about the 2023 White Sox team.
Yeah, I've heard
this. He said, he goes, I witnessed at least 7 or 8 injuries where you thought the guy was severely injured, and then they'd go get checked out, MRI at the hospital, and they didn't even have a bruise, but they would act like their season was done. He goes, so these guys were faking injuries because they just didn't want to play. And he goes, when you have that kind of culture, you have all these superstars, but no one actually wants to be the superstar. He goes, again, Clint Frazier is forever the bench player on whoever's team. Like, he wasn't a superstar. He was, a Yankee for a little bit. But he's in those clubhouses. He could read it, and he's talking.
Right.
He's being honest. He's just like, hey, yeah, this team. And you can see it afterwards. That team just didn't have it. They had all the chains. They had all the swag. But
They didn't have the juice,
the
though.
want to win. But yeah,
no, there's no juice. No juice there.
Yeah, he's been a really interesting listen. Trevor May has been a really interesting listen on a lot of things. He's just very candid. He also loves nasty pitchers. Like, if you got nasty stuff, he's like, whoa. Like, his reactions are really funny. So yeah, it's cool to see these guys just kind of, speak their truth on it.
Right, and they should be allowed to as well. It's their right as a player. And you're not trying to trash anybody. And I know, like, some of that stuff should remain private, but it's like, hey, it's just cool to know about. Well, and that's cool about the podcast sphere, is that people feel comfortable. They don't have to be politically correct. They can just say how they feel.
It is once you retire. When you're in the clubhouse, it's a little taboo. But once you retire, you can start to open up. And again, Hosmer's got his, and Kratz has his with Przinsky. And I like Przinsky a little more, and I listen to him talk. But again, it's the after the fact. Okay, we can open the doors a little bit, and you can get a peek in.
But Burnsy and Will Clark are fun.
Yeah. Apparently, Devers turned down Will Clark for first base advice. But you know what? Will Clark's a little bit of a, he's a little intense for some people. So
he's
I
pretty
can understand
intense.
where there's a language barrier there. I can understand where Devers might be like, I don't know
right.
about you, man.
And they were also playing the Red Sox at the time when he offered the help, and he didn't really want to be like working on a new thing right in front of their dugout. I kind of get it. And I think Will kind of understood, but he's like, hey, when we get back to San Francisco, like, I'm getting your butt out there. I'm grabbing you by the scruff of your neck, and we're going to work on some stuff.
Yeah, but you got to have kid gloves with Devers, apparently, because that's how he likes to play. But this was, I feel like we did a lot of stats tonight, but that's kind of, I like getting into that kind of stuff. So, sorry guys, a lot of numbers, but I can dig it.
Wasn't expecting it either. Had a long day and didn't really get to prepare much. I'm glad Brandon came with some stats too. That was good.
Fun fact, I had 11 minutes. Yeah, that's how much prep time I had. So, again, if you're just watching baseball and you just know it and you see it, you can see making the list was easy. Supporting it with the numbers is the second part. But that's why we have this forum and we talk about it. That's why we want to have our friends on to talk about it. We're trying to get some of our friends on. But you know what? Life gets in the way, so we will talk to them when we can. By the next time we talk, will be in 2 weeks. We'll have played the All-Star game. Hopefully the Cubs will still be in first place. These Brewers are just charging. They've won, 5 in a row. So we'll see. We'll see how it shakes out. We can't panic yet. It will be a good central race. It'll be a good second half of the season. But it'll just be nice to kind of talk about what happened in the All-Star game, some good and bad stuff. Hopefully Byron Buxton is there, because I feel like he's a good feel-good story for this whole thing. He said he's doing the home run derby. He got hit in the hand tonight. I don't know if he will, but I think that guy should do as many things as he can do it while he's healthy.
Right.
So for me, I think that's a cool thing.
We need healthy Byron Buxton. Yep. It's another just a great thing for the game. Great athlete, great player, great human being. Needs to be playing. He probably should have been an all-star 5 times over by now with how talented he is. But the game just has not been kind to him. He goes all out, and when you go all out, you get hurt. It happens. But yeah, good to see him healthy.
I have a video on my phone of him 10 years ago when we were in Minnesota. He just got called up, and it's literally just him trying to steal a base. They knew he was stealing. He's still really fast. They threw him out anyways, but it's still on my phone of Byron Buxton attempting to steal a base getting thrown out. I had one at PCA in Milwaukee getting thrown out, but it's still, he's really fast and it's fun to see. And they pitched him out and they threw him out, but it's like, you know what? He's still really fast. It's still cool.
Yeah. Anything fun for you baseball related coming up either before the break or after the break?
Yeah, after the break, the Cubs and Brewers play Milwaukee for the last time this year, end of July. So I will be going to that. Usually we had the 18 games against division rivals, but now we're down to 12. So that means only 2 series in Milwaukee a year. And
Right.
this would be the
Thank
second one.
you. Interleague play. We like to see new teams.
I like to see new teams, but I also liked when the Cubs were coming to Milwaukee with regularity. That's okay, though. So, yeah, I will catch a game there with Christilo and parents. So,
Yeah.
that's the only baseball bit I have. We might get Eli to a Milkmen game at some point and catch 2 innings there before we leave. But
Yeah.
some unaffiliated baseball with a lawn seat. That's what we need for a 1.5-year-old.
You know what? I mean, yeah. Get a couple innings in. He'll look around, and then you go. There's no pressure to stay.
Not at all.
Yeah. Well, I was just at the West Michigan Whitecaps game on the 3rd of July before you guys came into town. I got to see the Tigers' big 3, Max Clark, Kevin McGonigal, and Jose Briseño. It was one of the last times because all 3 of them, a game or 2 later, got promoted to Double-A at the same time, which, again, this is number 1 Tiger prospect, number 2, and number 4 in their system. First, Briseño is a first baseman, power hitting, big dude, 6'4". Clark, speedy, lanky outfielder. McGonigal, stocky, contact-driven shortstop. I mean, all 3 are exceptional players. McGonigal made some great plays in the field. He was hitting about 380 when I saw him play, and he did not get a hit, which is unfortunate, but Max Clark got 3 hits. Briseño hit one off the wall, which was fun. They ended up walking off on a single on a broken play. So that was fun. That was cool to see. I love watching prospects. So that was awesome. I am making plans to go to Appleton Labor Day weekend, at least the first part of it. Hang out with Nick Gunther for a little bit, watch some baseball. Hopefully the Brewers will have promoted Jesus Made by then, and maybe Pena, their other top prospect. So that'll be fun. And then I'm also planning on going to Detroit with Leah to visit Nicole, Leah's cousin. And we're probably going to go to a game probably later in the season in August or September. I would love to make it to Wrigley as well. Maybe make up another game in Milwaukee, but just got to find time to do that.
Yeah, Wrigley. Well, this will be a good year for Wrigley because they've been actually good. So hopefully we have time for that. But yeah, good second half baseball, good summer baseball time. Nothing in the next 2 weeks at least. But
right.
Oh well. All right. Well, until next time, Boots come in pairs. Thanks for listening to all our stats tonight, and take it easy.
Peace.